Assembly Bill 2009 by Assemblymember Lopez, enacting into Student Support Services.
Ms. Lopez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I'm proud to present 2009 that will require California Public College and Universities to have a design staff person has a know that dream license. Those licenses will provide resources and information for undocumented students, sure they are available to make their academic goals. AB 2009 will strengthen the investment of California already made for undocumented students and their families in our state. Respectfully ask for your vote.
Seeing and hearing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 45, no 16. The measure passes. File item 129, AB 2079, Calderon. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2079 by Assemblymember Calderon, enacting into Health Facilities.
Mr. Calderon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 2079 is about the quality of care that our seniors and most vulnerable receive as they approach the end of their life. AB 2079 will raise the minimum staffing hours of certified nursing assistants and licensed nurses in skilled nursing facilities and will require nursing homes to post the number of direct caregivers on duty at all times. Currently, skilled nursing facilities are required to provide a minimum of 3.2 nursing hours per patient day, which includes certified nursing assistants, licensed vocational nurses, and registered nurses. However, this standard has not been evaluated in over a decade. Providing person-centered care in skilled nursing facilities requires time, and when rushed, a resident's quality of life and health suffer. AB 2079 aims to raise the quality of care standards of our society's most vulnerable residents by modernizing the minimum number of required nursing hours per patient day in a skilled nursing facility from 3.2 hours to 4.1 hours, which is consistent with the federally recommended standard and explicitly requiring a minimum number of certified nursing assistant hours. Thank you. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no discussion on the item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Mr. Calderon has requested for us to move the call. File item 130, AB 2087, Levine. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2087 by Assemblymember Levine, enacting into Fish and Wildlife.
Mr. Levine, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a quick update. Warriors 43, Cavs 30 in the second quarter. I'd like to speak about AB 2087. It creates a new voluntary tool to assist in identifying regional priorities for wildlife habitat conservation, including protection of wildlife corridors. The bill seeks to improve both conservation outcomes while also meeting California's important infrastructure needs. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no... Ms. Melendez, you are recognized.
Sorry, got a late start, Madam Speaker. Members, in the area in which I live, we have what's called the MSHCP, the Multiple Species Habitat Conservation Program, which was put in place not only to, of course, conserve all the critters and plants in our area that needed to be conserved, but as well as helping developers get through the process. And it actually didn't do much to do that. Right now, those who want to do some work on their homes, those who might want to develop a particular area of land, have to pay a lot of fees. And what's happening is they're being held hostage, particularly by DFW, who doesn't seem to want to give cities, who are the lead agency, the ability to exercise the authority that they have. So I would caution you against allowing DFW to take any more money in the name of conservation, because it doesn't appear that they're being responsible with what they have, nor does it appear that they've that they understand that they can't just, it's not their kingdom, that they can't take over. They do have to let cities exercise some authority. So I would request a no vote.
Seeing it. Mr. Williams, you are recognized.
I rise in support of this measure. It creates a process for regional conservation frameworks. This is a voluntary tool to guide public investments to achieve better conservation outcomes. It also could help identify optional mitigation opportunities for public infrastructure projects. Members, this is voluntary. I ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, Mr. Levine, would you like to close?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much for my colleague from Santa Barbara for the eloquent close that I would have given. Non-regulatory, completely voluntary, not fee-based at all, and a pathway for some of the infrastructure that California needs while planning for the conservation of our communities. Thank you, and I ask for an aye vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. 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 Mr. Levine, what's your pleasure? Mr. Levine moves the call. Passing temporarily on file item 131, file item 133, AB 2653, Garcia. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2653 by Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia and others enacting the greenhouse gases.
Mr. Garcia, you are recognized.
Madam Chair and members, I present AB 2563, which expands the reporting requirements of projects and activities funded with the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund monies to include key economic and community development outcomes. Without this good data, we will not know the true impact of these programs' investments. California's economic transition to a lower carbon economy must include everyone, from big businesses to small, the affluent communities, as well as our poor communities. The GGRF fund represents an important funding source, and therefore expenditures must be reviewed within the context of equity. Today, members, we've seen a number of bills related to this fund. A bill from the member from Inglewood, from Los Angeles, AB 1550, as well as the member from Elk Grove. And it's quite clear that there is a huge interest, to borrow a word from the Senate Pro Tem, to move our policies with intentionality, to ensure that these investments go to the communities of most need. So I respectfully ask for your aye vote, and I think that this is one step closer to ensuring that we can clean up our environmental justice communities and at the same time see the co-benefits for economic opportunities in those communities. So I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 58, no 0. The measure passes. File item 134, AB 1672, Mathis. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1672 by Assemblymember Mathis and others enacted into courts making appropriation therefore.
File item 134 we're going to pass temporarily. File item 135, AB 2085, Irwin. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2085 by Assemblymember Irwin and others enacting to military and veterans.
Ms. Irwin, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 2085 would create the Office of Military Legal Assistance within the California Military Department to connect our active duty Guard and Reserve service members to low or no cost legal representation. The Department of Defense is in support of this bill, and the DoD's support letter explains the concept and the need. One of the Department of Defense's priority issues this year is working with states to facilitate service members seeking assistance in obtaining legal representation. It is a common misconception that service members have unfettered access to legal services as a result of their military service. The Judge Advocate General Corps attorneys in the military cannot represent service members in a majority of civil matters. Because private attorneys sometimes cost more than a service member can afford, military families that need help are put in a stressful position while facing challenging military duties. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no discussion on the item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 54, noes 0. The measure passes. State your parliamentary inquiry. Did he?
Next morning.
Consult with the majority leader on your item, please.
I think that's a yes.
Moving now to AB 2530 Gordon, the clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2530 by Assemblymember Gordon, an act relating to recycling.
Mr. Gordon, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to present AB 2530. Let me admit that the bill in print is not the bill that I had originally authored. This bill went into what I would respectfully call the black hole of suspense and appropriations and came out very differently. So I want to make sure that you know what you're voting on. The original bill, which had a lot of opposition, would have required a notice on the label of soft drinks and bottled water. That's gone. Not in here. This simply requires that a manufacturer provide an annual report as to whether or not their bottled products include recycled materials. The report goes to CalRecycle, put up on their webpage. Pretty simple, pretty direct. I'm hopeful that you'll help me move this forward so that we can work on this further in the Senate in a way that I think will provide greater benefit to consumers in terms of getting this information. Obviously, the label is a challenge. I respect that. I'm not sure the web page is fully sufficient, but if we move this today, I'll have an opportunity to continue to work on this with the manufacturers to find a way to let our public know whether the product that they are purchasing actually contains recycled material. Our goal in the state is to achieve a 75% reduction in our solid waste. Part of that can only be achieved if we recycle, and using recycled material benefits California companies. So I would respectfully ask for an aye vote on this measure.
Seeing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Mr. Gordon, what's your pleasure? Mr. Gordon moves the call. Moving now to file item 93, AB 2678 Gray, the clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2678 by Assemblymember Gray, an act relating to state designated fairs making appropriation therefore.
Mr. Gray, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, AB 2678 will provide a stable and reliable source of funding for California's network of fairs. Fairs and fairgrounds are an integral asset to counties throughout the state, particularly in rural California. These properties are utilized throughout the year for a variety of agricultural and local community events, including the annual fair, educational programs, even weddings and graduations. Fairs also serve by assisting in emergency preparedness and response. For more than 75 years, there has been a designated state funding source for fairs. Unfortunately, this funding was eliminated in 2011 due to the state's fiscal crisis. The time is right to once again create a stable and responsible source of funding to protect and further one of the state's most vital assets. AB 2678 was amended in committee and enjoys the support of the Western Fairs Association as well as numerous individual fairs throughout the state. There is no opposition, and I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Dr. Wood, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I rise to support the bill from my colleague from Merced. This is a good bill. This is an important bill. A lot of communities in our districts that have fairs are really struggling, and they're really on the verge of losing these fairs. These fairs actually promote ag practices. They get people involved in their communities. The money that's spent at these fairs will go away if these fairs close down, and a lot of them are just right on the edge. So we're just asking for a fraction of the sales tax that's generated at the fair to come back to the fairs. We haven't been able to get any other resources, and I ask you to support this bill, which I think is modest and much needed.
Mr. Patterson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I too rise in support of this, and not to belabor the point, but fairs are remarkable. They're fantastic. We have the big Fresno Fair, but folks, our fairs are in real difficulty. This is a solution that is right in front of us. It is reasonable. It is the right thing to do. And so I'm asking all my colleagues, please, in the interest of our fairs and for a very good reason, a very good bill, please join us in approval. Thank you.
Ms. Grove, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of this bill as well. I think it's a very common sense measure that the money that is generated by our county state fairs go back to our county state fairs for maintenance, construction, expansion, things like that. So I applaud the author for bringing this forward, and I really appreciate this bill, and I would urge an aye vote.
Mr. Medina, you are recognized.
Standing in support from Riverside County, also recognizing the importance of state fairs, in strong support.
Mr. Lackey, you are recognized.
Yeah, it's with great regret that I have to stand in opposition, and the only reason is I would like to be part of this bill, but for some reason Antelope Valley Fairgrounds has been excluded. And so for that reason, we're a bit frustrated by that, so I can't support it.
Mr. Cooley, you are recognized.
I just want to note the importance of fairs as a place for young kids in 4-H and to take their skills into the adult arena and compete. Future Farmers, 4-H, these are great programs that the fairs are a very important part of their programming, growing outstanding leaders who are capable to lead in the ag sector.
Mr. Mathis, you are recognized.
I too rise in support. We've working with the author, working with the Fair Board, working with everybody on getting this bill put together, looking at the needs, and looking at the deterioration of our fairgrounds across the state, and talking to folks that put time and effort into this. These fairgrounds provide the space for our youth to continue to learn about ag, to grow and develop, to have recreational activities in our small rural communities. and we need to ensure that the money that is getting paid out from these fairs is going back to them fairly. I ask for your support and your aye vote.
Mr. Alejo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For those of us who represent rural counties, and I represent 4 county fairgrounds, and we all know how vital and integral part the fairgrounds are for our communities, our agriculture, and we all know that a few years ago, during the height of the recession, there was a shift in policy, in fiscal policy towards fairgrounds. There was a time where the state allocated a certain amount of dollars to help fund the fairgrounds, and it was a meager budget. But it got to a point where the fiscal policy changed, and they wanted fairgrounds to be self-sufficient. And so since then, fairgrounds have been trying to come up with innovative ways to try to bring in additional resources, but it's still not enough. So this is another concept that could help reallocate resources to keep fairgrounds going that we all know are important to our communities. I respectfully ask that you join us in supporting this bill, and I commend the author from Merced.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, Mr. Gray, would you like to close?
Certainly. Thank you, members, for those kind words about this legislation and support for our fairs throughout California. I would like to respond to my colleague from Palmdale in respect to the Antelope Valley Fair. It is our intention to resolve that issue and put that fair back into this bill. That was certainly not the intention of those amendments that were taken. I will work with my colleague to make sure that happens, and with that would respectfully ask for everyone's aye vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 65, noes 1. The measure passes. Moving to file item 16, AB 2373 Gray, the clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2373 by Assemblymember Gray, an act relating to the Merced Irrigation District, making appropriation therefore.
Mr. Gray, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, AB 2373 is a modest district bill. It appropriates $45,000 to the Merced Irrigation District to provide water well assistance to small communal farms of refugee families in our community who run communal farms to support them and their families. They share the cost of labor and farming to produce enough food for their own consumption and to sell at farmers markets throughout my district. There is no opposition. I would respectfully request your aye vote.
Is there any objection to granting reconsideration to Mr. Gray? Hearing no objection, reconsideration is granted. On the bill, the clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2373 by Assemblymember Gray, an act relating to the Merced Irrigation District, making appropriation therefore.
Seeing no discussion or debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. This requires 54 votes. The clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 62, no 0. The measure passes. Item 17, reconsideration. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1794 by Assemblymember Cristina Garcia and others, an act relating to municipal water districts, declaring the urgency thereof, to take effect immediately.
Any objection to granting reconsideration? Hearing no objection, reconsideration is granted. On the bill. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1794 by Assemblymember Cristina Garcia and others, an act relating to municipal water districts, declaring the urgency thereof, to take effect immediately.
Ms. Garcia, you are recognized.
Members, AB 1794 is a good government reform bill. It creates a new structure for the Central Basin Municipal Water District to address serious ethic concerns raised by a California audit report, which I requested with Speaker Rendon. The list of concerns is long. They range from a lack of leadership and technical expertise, that resulted in credit downgrades to $2.75 million being spent from an inappropriately set up legal trust fund. After the audit was released, we convened a working group with the purveyors, and this bill is the result of a series of stakeholder meetings. First, the bill will increase the number of the members on the board from 5 to 7. In order to maintain the input of the public, the majority of the members, 4 out of 7, will be elected by the residents. Second, a technical oversight committee will be created to make sure there is additional technical expertise and oversight. In combination, these changes will provide the mix of oversight, expertise, and accountability to better protect the more than 2 million people served by the Central Basin. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 67, no 0. The measure passes. On the urgency, ayes 67, no 0 on the bill. Sorry. File item 55, ACA 11, Gatto. The clerk will read.
Assembly Constitutional Amendment 11 by Assemblymember Gatto and others enacted relating to public utilities.
Mr. Gatto, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to find an area of the state that has not been affected by mismanagement at the PUC. In the Bay Area, everybody has got San Bruno on their mind, a catastrophic explosion that took a number of lives. In Los Angeles, you have an entire community, Porter Ranch, that could not go home for Thanksgiving, could not go home for Hanukkah, could not go home for Christmas, because again, the regulators failed to spot something that could have been prevented. In San Diego County and in South Orange County, you have San Onofre. You have members of the public worried about nuclear waste right in their community. In the Central Valley, you have people worried about the oil trains that go through their communities. And in every corner of the state, you have people wondering how the Frontier Verizon merger could have happened in such a way that resulted in countless thousands of people losing their internet service and their telephone service. This measure is rather simple. It would empower the voters, or it would ask the voters to empower the legislature to be able to treat the PUC like any other executive branch agency and actually let us put some meaningful rules on this agency that affects so many people's lives. If we were reconstituting a regulator in the year 2016, nobody doubts that we would constitute this regulator as it has been done. It's been added to over the years in such a way that it's grown from the Railroad Commission to include everything under the sun. And I think it needs to get more focused, more specialized, and that the residents of California would be better off for it. Colleagues, we have an opportunity here. I won't be here. A member of the public asked me if I was carrying this because I wanted to have a say in the PUC reform. Well, those of us who will not be here next year will not have a chance to do this. I'm carrying this bill because I think it's the right thing to do, and this legislature, these people who are here for 12 years and trusted with the public's trust, have an opportunity to rethink how this regulator serves the people of California. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Levine, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. The bill recognizes that one agency cannot possibly be responsible for regulating natural gas, electric, telephone, and water companies, in addition to railroads and marine transportation companies, and to do any of these tasks well. The PUC is so scattered and unfocused, it's like hiring one company to replace the roof on your house, repair your automobile, do your dry cleaning, and give you a root canal. When we do that, we shouldn't be surprised when the roof caves in, the wheels fall off the car, our clothes are not clean, and we get the mother of all toothaches. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Wilk, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I rise today as joint author in support of ACA 11. The PUC was established when Hiram Johnson was governor and running on the Bull Moose Party ticket with Theodore Roosevelt. That's 104 years ago. Earlier today, our speaker talked about a rule that hadn't been changed in 80 years. Well, this is a regulatory body that's not been reformed in 104 years. As previously stated, this agency is not equipped to deal with the challenges in a 21st century economy. I ask for your aye vote on this measure.
Mr. Dababneh, you are recognized.
I will not rehash all the remarks that I echo with my colleagues, but I will tell you previously I was not as aware of the dysfunction
of this board until the Aliso Canyon gas leak, which happened at the border of my district. And with my colleagues, Assemblymembers Gatto and Wilk, we held a hearing in Granada Hills to give residents and constituents who are affected by this terrible gas leak an opportunity to hear from not only the PUC but other agencies. And one of the questions I posed to the representative from the PUC was when they were notified by the Southern California Gas Company about the leak, what was their plan to notify the public? Families in my district and in Southern California, in Mr. Wilk's district as well, what was the plan to notify those residents? And I was told, well, most of them would find out from news reports, from local news reports. The PUC had no plan to notify the residents of my community, of Mr. Wilk's community, family members, seniors, people with children, that there is a natural gas leak a few miles away that could compromise their health. We need this reform. I urge everyone to vote aye on this because that could happen in any one of our districts. Thank you.
Mr. Chavez, you are recognized.
I agree with all the speakers that the PUC needs to be reformed. It's clearly not doing its job. Question of the author?
Without objection.
My question to the author is that it's my understanding that the reorganization will be strictly a majority vote. Is that of the legislator? Is that correct?
That is correct.
On my own time?
Please continue.
Republicans, think about this. This is a two-thirds vote that will go ahead and allow the restructuring of the PUC. A year or two from now, we are going to allow one party to decide the future of all telecom, of all transportation, of energy, of everything. To give that much authority away from us so that we are not even part of the process, strictly on a majority vote, would pretty much ensure that we would be marginalized by these major industries throughout the state of California. Members, the PUC does need to be reformed, but I believe in the final process, whatever comes back should not be a majority vote, but a two-thirds vote. Members, look 18, 24 months from now. Think of your influence with these major industries when you're not even going to be in the room when they're restructured. Think how the budget's formed. Think about our ability to be relevant on probably one of the major reformations going on in the state of California in the next 24 months. I ask for a no vote on this.
Ms. Melendez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We had a hearing, I don't know, about maybe less than a month or so ago with the representatives of Frontier and a representative from the PUC. The representative from the PUC, to my knowledge, I don't think he said anything the entire hearing. He just sat there and took up space. They were of no help to us in trying to get answers as to what took place with the complete shutdown of people's communications. So I would ask you to think about that when we're contemplating making a change in the makeup of this particular board, because they're not going to do it themselves. And when it comes to matters of great importance to your constituents, and I would bet most of you in here have constituents who were pretty darned upset about what happened. If the PUC won't do their job, what we put them there to do, then maybe they need a little bit of encouragement to do so. So I would ask you to consider that when you're voting for this bill and vote aye. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion on this item, Mr. Gatto, you may close.
I certainly appreciate the comments of my good colleague from Oceanside, but I would point out that none of us have any say right now. We all are voiceless, and the people are voiceless. It's not just about one party. We've seen many bills today go down on the floor when one party can't agree. All of you will have a say in this. I have faith in my colleagues in the legislature. This is a good bill, and I ask for a vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. This item requires 54 votes. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Mr. Gatto, what's your pleasure?